Hey everybody, Charles for HumbleMechanic.com. Today, we're going to be talking about the Mark III GTI that I just bought. So like I said, this is the 1998 GTI that I picked up about a week ago. Someone actually traded it in at the Honda dealership. We share a used car lot and I like to drive around and see what cars get traded in. And I stumbled across this actually gem of a GTI. On the surface, it may not be like a mind-blowingly beautiful car, but one, and probably most importantly, it's completely stock, minus the spark plug wires. And it's a really good base for not something that I'm going to do a crazy build on, but something to basically rehab and get back out on the road. The GTI has a AAA VR6, very much like the VR6 in the cabbie, which is parked right over here. If you want to learn more about the VR6, check out a video that Jason from Engineering Explained and I did all about the VR6. You can actually hear what an exhaust and an intake does to the sound of this engine. So let's take a look under the hood. Under the hood, she's actually, despite being incredibly dirty, in pretty good shape. I did have to make one coolant leak repair before I brought her home, and then actually on the way home she developed another small coolant leak, which is going to give me a great opportunity to do a DIY video on the Eurowise thermostat housing that I did a review on a while back. So I'm really excited to finally be able to do a DIY showing you guys how to install that part and get that really awesome part installed on a car. There are a few other things under the hood that I really do want to take care of. One, there's a valve cover gasket leak. It's a minor leak, so I may not jump on it right away, but it is something on the list. It may actually wait until I do timing chains, which is a project for a little bit down the road. There is also a couple of odd things that I found. It has a brand new condenser, which is the air conditioning heat exchanger at the very front of the vehicle, but for some reason it's not hooked up. So I'm going to need to get the lines flushed out and cleaned up and get that installed, charge it with Freon, and see what happens. I'll probably end up doing a tune-up on the vehicle as well. In addition to that, I'm of course going to clean up the engine bay, clean up the cover here, and make that look nice and pretty like the one on the cabbie does. I'm going to also do a Jetta front end swap. My buddy Kevin at Apex Tuning has a white Mark III Jetta, and I'm going to go ahead and swap the headlights, the center grille, and the hood as well, because I just love the Jetta front end on the Golf on the Mark IIIs. There's a few other things as well that I'm going to give some attention to. I've already replaced this coolant pipe. Here is the condenser fitting that just was attached to nothing. If you look down there on top of the transmission, you can see residue from it leaking coolant. So I'm going to get that cleaned up and again replace that coolant flange right there where all those coolant temp sensors are plugged in. In addition to that, the secondary air pump makes a little bit of noise. I'm going to go ahead and take that out and see if I can address the noise that it's making. As we come over to the passenger side, you'll notice there's some JB Weldon zip ties on the PCV hose at the back of the valve cover. For now, that's holding pretty well, so I'm not going to give it too much attention until it becomes a problem or till I save up the money to replace it. You can see there is a little bit of oil down there where that white zip tie is, but it's not something that I'm very concerned about. It's a very minor thing. As we pan over this way, you'll be able to see some of the oil leaking out of the valve cover. You can see it down there in the spark plug area. Again, something that's going to be addressed, but not a super critical issue right now. I'm also going to be test driving the Eurowise bumper retainers to eliminate this problem right here with the bumper cover hanging down like that. Now, I did remove the front center grille, which is why, as you can see right there, it's not installed properly. The headlight was actually missing a screw, so I'm going to get that addressed when I do the Jetta front end swap. Overall, the body's in really great condition. The only thing of a bit of concern to me is right here on the roof line. You can see there was some body repair done. This is a little bit of Bondo that's coming apart, and the paint's chipping. I got the guys that do restoration work for the dealership. They're going to try and get that addressed for me in the next week or two. Until then, it's going to be parked in the garage, so that doesn't actually get any worse. The interior is in really great shape as well. You can see the carbon fiber on the center of the dash. That'll be something that I eliminate as soon as possible. I am a little bit worried about some discoloration that may have occurred. That was actually installed from the dealership when the car was brand new. So if there is discoloration, I'm going to try and maybe do a vinyl wrap or something cool like that with it. I don't want to do anything too extreme with the interior. I want to keep it as stock looking as possible. And I have to say, I was blown away by the fact that the shift knob is still in incredible condition. As far as the underbody goes, it's in pretty good condition. There is one spot on the driver's side pinch weld that it looks like someone tried to lift the car by the center and crushed it a little bit. I was able to take a hammer and a block of wood and level it out a little bit. It's still a little bit crooked, not something that anybody's probably going to notice unless they're looking underneath the car. It also does need a bit of suspension work. I'm going to go through, I'm going to replace all the front suspension bushings. I'm probably going to put new springs and struts on it. It does need tie rod ends. I'll do sway bar bushings. Basically, I'm going to take each system and go through it step by step, replacing the parts that need to be replaced, either because I have the parts or because of maintenance or safety like this. It needs a couple of tires as well. The good thing is the brakes are in good condition. It needs parking brake cables, so I'll be able to do a video and show you guys how to do that. I'm also really excited to be able to finally install this shark fin antenna that I've had for years in my toolbox. I think they look great on the Mark IIIs, so I'll be sure to do a DIY video on that as well. The first few DIYs are going to be revolving around things that I need to do to get this car back on the road. The flange from Eurowise, as well as the cross pipe, also known as the crack pipe, that runs from the water pump to that housing is going to get replaced. I'm going to do videos on that. I need to replace the fans. The belt for the fan on the passenger side has come loose. Luckily, I have a whole nother fan shroud with 2 fans in it, so that's going to pretty much be a drop-in installation. I'll do a video on that. The great thing about getting this car is it allows me to not have my daily driver down and be able to take my time and do really good Mark III DIY videos for you guys. I know there's a ton of information about the Mark III out there already, but this is a little bit different perspective, and maybe some parts that you've never seen replaced on a Mark III, you'll be able to get a DIY video of. And the really great thing is, a lot of this stuff transfers to most of the A-platform cars, the Golf, the Jetta, the Beetle as well. So, like, control arm bushings are going to be very similar on the Mark III, the Mark IV, the Mark V, the Mark VI, and 7. There's slight differences, but you can watch the DIY on this one and apply those things that you learned in that DIY to doing that same thing on another car. So there you have it, the new to me Mark III GTI. The color is actually called Cool White, which I think is pretty neat. So hey, if you guys have any questions or comments, post it in the comments section below. Also, if there's a Mark III DIY video that you want to see, let me know. Post it in the comments section and put, hey Charles, I want to see, this DIY on the Mark III. And I'll do my best to do a repair video for you guys on that. So, if you like the video, throw it a thumbs up on YouTube. You guys know I always appreciate that. You can also subscribe on YouTube or on the blog at humblemechanic.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the blog, and obviously here on YouTube. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Oh, and I'll probably do an exhaust and an intake and put lowering springs on it when I do springs and struts. And then when I make engine repairs and do timing chains, it'll probably get camshafts. And then I'll want to put a turbo on it, and pretty soon we have a $10,000 car that's a turbocharged VR6 that is, just a plastic truck. Hopefully Jen doesn't watch all the way down.